Hello, good morning, student. Dear student, today I am going to start next chapter of Vistas, The Enemy. The Enemy is written by Pearl Sidney Buck. ऐसे जो बना है एस सिडनी स्टिकर बक was born 1892 and died 1973. She was an American writer and novelist. She had a Chinese name. Sai Jianju. She spent her childhood in China. The title The Enemy is the time of the World War in American prisoner of war. It was ashore in dying state and is found at the doorstep of Japanese doctor. Should he have him as a doctor or hand him over to the army as a patrol? The story is set during the Second World War. An American prisoner reached at the doorstep of Japanese doctor, Dr. Shadao. Dr. Sadao is in a dilemma. Should he save the prisoner as a doctor? Being a doctor, should he save the prisoner? And being a Japanese, should he hand him over to the army? This is a dilemma for Dr. Shadao. यही this is a dilemma. Dilemma means जिसे कहते हैं a critical situation to take the decision. What decision should be taken by the person at the time of the dilemma? Let's see the lesson. Dr. Sadao Hockey's house was built on a spot of the Japanese coast where as a little boy he had often played. The low square stone house was set upon rocks well above a narrow beach that was outlined with bent pine. As a boy, Shadao had climbed the pines, supporting himself on his bare feet as he had seen men do in the South Seas when they climbed for coconuts. His father had taken him often to the island of those seas, and never had he failed to say to the little brave boy at his side, "Those islands yonder, they are the stepping stone to the future for Japan. Where shall we step from them?" Shadao had asked seriously. "Who knows?" His father had answered. "Who can limit our future? It depends on what we make it." Dr. Sadao Hoki's house was built on a spot of the Japanese coast. It means the house of Dr. Sadao was built on the spot of the Japanese coast where as a child, as a little boy, Dr. Sadao often had played in his childhood. You can say in other words, the house of Dr. Sadao was situated as a spot of the Japanese coast where as in childhood Dr. Sadao had often played. His house was built in the low square stone house. The house was low square stone was set up upon upon the rocks. The house was set up upon the rocks well above a narrow beach. The house was shut up, set upon rocks well above a narrow beach that was outlined with bent pine. It means the pine trees was outlined near the house above a narrow beach that was outlined with a bent, it means stand pine trees. As a boy, Sadao had climbed the pines. As a boy, Sadao had climbed on the pine trees, supporting himself. Dr. Sadao supporting himself on his bare feet, without any slip, without any shoes. As Sadao had seen men climbs in the South Seas, as Sadao sees men climbed in the South Seas when they climbed for coconut trees, when South Seas, the people of South Seas, South areas climb on the for the coconut trees. Same when Sadao had seen them, Sadao also climbed on the trees with bare feet. Sadao's father had taken him often to the island. Sadao's father often taken him to the islands of those seas. Those seas means southern seas. Those seas means south seas. His father often taken him the island of those seas, and never had he failed to say to the little brave boy at his side, those islands, the islands belong to South Seas, those islands yonder, they are the stepping stones to the future for Jat. Where shall we step from them? Sadao had asked seriously to his father, where shall we step from them? Who knows? His father had answered Sadao. Who knows? His father had answered, who can limit our future? Sadao's father had answered to Sadao, who can limit our future? Our future depends on what we make it. Sadao's father answered to the Sadao, who knows? His father answered, who knows? Who can limit our future? Because our future depends on what we make it. Sadao had taken this into his mind as he did everything his father said. Sadao had taken this into his mind. Sadao had taken this matter, this thing to set his father to his mind. He did everything. Sadao did everything as his father said to him. His father, who never joked, Sadao's father never joked or never played with Sadao, but who spent infinite pains. But Sadao's father spent infinite pains upon him. It means he cared him so well. Sadao's father cared him so well. Who was his only son? Sadao was only son of his father. Sadao knew that his education was his father's chief concern. The chief concern of Sadao's father was the education of Sadao. The chief concern of Sadao's father was Sadao's education. For this reason, he had been sent. For this reason, Sadao's father sent him at 22 years to America to learn all that could be learned of surgery and medicine. Sadao's father had sent him to America to learn the surgery and medicine, and Sadao had come back at 30. In the age of 22, Sadao went to America and he came back at the age of 30. And before his father died, Sadao had seen Sadao become famous not only as a surgeon but Sadao famous as a scientist, because Sadao was perfecting a discovery with wood render ones. entirely clean. It means Sadao also perfecting a discovery about how to render ones entirely off and how clean them. He had not been sent abroad. Sadao had not been sent abroad with the troops means groups also, because he knew there was some slight danger that the old general might need an operation for a conditions for which he was now being treated medically. And for this possibility, Sadao was being kept in Japan. It means Sadao's father did not send Sadao abroad with a group of another scientists, another doctors, and Sadao father knew that where there was some slight dangers that the old general might need an operation, जनरल को ऑपरेशन की आवश्यकता होगी फॉर अ कंडीशन फॉर विच he saw now being treated medically, and for this possibly Sadao was being kept in Japan. He did not go to abroad. Dear student, listen this video carefully, watch this video carefully, and try your best to understand the story step by step. Thank you.